Everyone, it's I, I.M.P. What If, here to present you with What If Deku Had the I.M.P. Quirk Part 2. I hope you all enjoy, and if you do, make sure you smash that like button to oblivion. Let's go and get into this. Currently, Blitzo, Luna, Moxie, and Millie are in a quiet predicament. After 4 years, Midoriya has finally asked a big question. Can I go to school? Which Blitzo immediately laughed when Midoriya asked that. And they're all laughing too. And Midoriya's right in front of them, and he says, I wasn't making a joke. I was just asking if I could go to school. After all, I don't want to be uneducated and stupid. While all of them immediately stop laughing, they say, well, we didn't go to school. And we turned out perfectly fine. While some guy walks into the room, and immediately Blitzo shoots him in the head, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That was a client. I had my gun in my hand when I was talking, and I actually pulled the trigger because that was so much of a stupid question. And immediately, Millie just says, I don't think it's stupid, though. I mean, if he wants to go to school, we can take him to school. I mean, we can take him to the human world. While immediately Blitzo says, well, we could, but, well, Solus kind of needed his book back for an event. So we have to, well, do something else, because we can't really take him to the human world without the book. While Midoriya immediately says, aw, are you sure about that? As he says this, they immediately say, yes, we're sure about that. While immediately Blitzo pulls out a sandwich and says, I'm just as sure as I am about eating this sandwich right now. He's about to bite into the sandwich, and he closes his eyes, and immediately he chomps it down on his finger that was holding the sandwich, and he says, my finger! While Midoriya starts laughing, and he says, well, I developed an ability. It allows me to send stuff to the human world. While they all look at him and they say, wait, what? And Blitzo says, my finger! And he says, that's amazing, but could you not do that to my sandwich? Can you send it back? Immediately he says, yeah. The problem about that is, I can send stuff back, but I have to physically be there to send it back. And immediately Blitzo says, well, fine. I guess we can go ahead and take you there. But you know the human world is a cruel place, right? While Blitzo says that, immediately Midoriya looks out the window of I.M.P. and he sees a person literally running across, stabbing people. And then he looks behind him and says, yeah, so that isn't cruel? While Blitzo says, well, that's just the circle of life. Well, at least here in hell. While immediately Midoriya just says, so I could literally be down there getting stabbed, and it would not be seen as bad or anything. Immediately Blitzo says, well, no one would stab you after all. We did teach you how to shoot. Midoriya pulls out his gun that he has in his back pocket, a little gun. It looks like a toy gun. He says, well, you did. How about this? I'm going to make you dance if you don't go ahead and go take me to school. And Blitzo says, no, I'm not dancing again. No, my feet have been tired enough from when you were a kid. And he started shooting people in the foot. I remember that one time when Moxie didn't dance when you were a baby, when you had that toy gun, and he shot downwards, and he wouldn't dance, and they shot him in the leg. Moxie says, I still have a bullet hole to prove it. While he says, well, it also did heal. Mainly because, well, imps can heal faster, so. While saying that, Luna said, well, it was kind of funny, though. While Blitzo immediately started laughing, so did Millie. And Moxie says, it wasn't funny, sir. I seriously got injured. While Midoriya says, well, I'm sorry I shot you in the foot, Moxie. I'm also sorry that you were a little bitch. While everyone started laughing, and Moxie says, I wonder where Midoriya got this from. While looking at Midoriya. And immediately, he ends up saying, so, also, why did you pick Midoriya as your last name? You know that's the same name as the people who threw you away, right? Immediately, Izuku stopped joking around and said, well, the reason why I did it is so that they know that I'm their kid and that they made the biggest mistake of letting me go and for throwing me in the dumpster. While Blitzo said, well, about that. Well, the doctor wasn't going to throw you in the dumpster. To be exact, he was going to raise you, but I apparently shot him because he was my target. While saying this, Midoriya said, so he was going to actually raise me in the human world as a literal human being and not an assassin like you guys. While they all immediately looked downwards and their eyes were like, yeah, he was. Midoriya immediately looked at them with serious eyes and they started laughing. That would be so boring. While they all laughed backwards and said, yeah, I know, right? You'd be an actual upstanding citizen. While Midoriya says, yeah, but I still want to go to school, though. They immediately said, okay, fine. Go ahead and make a portal. And Midoriya says, alright, let me go ahead and try to make a portal. He immediately puts his hand outwards, and a small portal appears out of his palm of his hand, and he fires it directly in front of him. And then it appears a portal towards the human world, specifically towards a school. They immediately all start walking out of it, and Midoriya was faced right in front of a window when he did this. And when they all walked through it, they appeared right into a kid's classroom. Right into the kid's classroom. And all the kids looked behind where the portal was, and they see flames all behind that window. And they all are like, it's demons! It's demons! While just Blitzo's like, yeah, we're totally demons. It's just that we have mutation quirks. He immediately thought about saying this because he realized sometimes when they use the book that they don't end up in they end up in certain different dimensions. This is not the same dimension that they usually go to. It's a different human world. And they have a different hell here. So they realized it was different once they found Midoriya. So they immediately thought of the excuse of using mutation quirk to hide their appearances. Once they said that, they immediately all said, are you sure? There's like flames shooting behind you guys in that mirror, that window over there. Is that your home or something? Midoriya immediately said, well, I teleported us here. While he said that, they all ended up crowding around him and saying, you have a teleportation quirk? That's super rare. And they all start to huddle around him. And a young Bakugo, who had just gotten all the attention from having his explosion quirk, immediately started getting jealous and said, hey, it's just a teleportation quirk. I have an explosion quirk. And he starts popping off little explosions out of his hands. And he said, mine's much cooler, right, guys? And some of them start crowding around Bakugo in fear of being bullied. Others are still around Midoriya. And immediately once Luna and Blitzo saw the explosion quirk, they immediately said, wow, it's just firecrackers. Very interesting. You're just like a human firecracker or a human bomb, I guess. Immediately when he says that, whenever they say that, Bakugo's like, I can literally do explosions from my hand. How cool is that? This is so much cooler than that teleportation quirk that your kid has, as they point towards Midoriya. And Midoriya ended up saying, well, yeah, it's cool if you're going to become a terrorist later on in life, I guess. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and do it, then I guess go ahead and do it. Start here, I guess. When he says that, everyone immediately starts uncrowding away from Bakugo because they realize he could start blowing up the entire school if his quirk came out of control. So they start running towards Midoriya. They're like, if that happens, will you teleport us away? And he says, anyone that's friends with me, I'll teleport them away. But if you're friends with that arrogant kid over there, I won't teleport you away if he starts to explode you. And once he says that, all of them start huddling around him. Immediately, Bakugo starts running towards Midoriya and start trying to shove him. And right when he shoves him, Luna literally just looks downwards at him and says, there's a special place in hell for kids like you that are just hog attention. Yeah, it's probably the Pride Ring. And right when she says this, Blitzo says, shh, they can't know about the human world. Plus, if they know about that hell actually exists, then they'll probably start acting all good and stuff. We want more people there. After all, it kind of gets boring down there, is what Blitzo says. Immediately, once all the kids hear this, they're like, wait, hell exists? More than half of them get nervous because they've been helping Bakugo bully other kids. And Bakugo gets even more nervous. He's like, hold up, is that hell back there? While Blitzo says, yeah, it is. You want to go ahead and check? Bakugo walks through the portal that's still open. And Midoriya says, I feel like I can't hold up the portal anymore. And he starts jokingly closing the portal. And Bakugo just walked into Blitzo's office and into hell. Legit says, oh, no. I don't want to go here. Don't want to go here. Because he looked out the window and he saw 5 people getting ran over by cars. 2 people running towards someone and saying, hi there, want a good time? And that guy did not look like he wanted it. He immediately thought, nope, I don't want to go here. So he started running towards the portal. Midoriya started jokingly closing it. Bakugo just barely jumped through. And then Midoriya closed it and said, oh, I can't seem to hold up the portal long enough. Sorry about how you had to jump through, Bakugo. While saying that, Bakugo immediately says, I won't let you call me by my name. After all, you're so insignificant. Is what he says to him. Immediately, once the bell rings, the teacher finally comes up and shows up into the classroom. He sees Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, and Luna. And he sees a kid that's being circled by a lot of people. He immediately says, wait, who is that kid? He didn't sign up to the school. While Blitzo says, well, he's new to school. I was just getting him transferred here. That's what Blitzo says. While the teacher says, well, yeah, but if he's getting transferred here, he can't be here without being transferred first. I need you to go ahead and go to the principal's office and transfer him. He can stay here, though. Immediately, Blitzo says, alright, fine. Well, Midoriya, enjoy your day at school. While all of them except for Luna and Millie go all the way to the office to get him enrolled. Blitzo and Moxie go to the principal's office to get him enrolled. They talk to the principal and they say, alright, so we want to enroll our kid. While immediately the principal's like, oh, so you two are, and then Moxie and Blitzo say, oh, no. It's not what you think. While he's like, oh, I get how it is. It's okay. It's okay. While they both are like, no. You're definitely getting it wrong. While he's like, all right, we can enroll your kid, except the only thing is we're going to need some money to enroll him. While saying that, Blitzo said, you sure you need some money or something else? While having his eyes look at him. And he ends up saying, you sure you don't need While the principal says, no, I don't go that way. While he says, you sick, disgusting person. I was asking if you wanted someone assassinated for free. While he says this, the principal says, oh, sorry, wait, what? You assassinate people? And immediately he says, of course I do. It's my business. I.M.P, you haven't heard of it? And immediately the principal says, then aren't you a villain? I'm sorry, but your kid can definitely not enroll here. While Blitzo just pulls out a gun and puts it towards his face and says, yeah, he's going to enroll here and I'm not going to have to pay a cent. You do it or I'll blow your head off. And immediately he starts putting Midoriya into the system really quickly. Then he puts his parents both as Moxie and Blitzo. And they says, oh, okay, Mr. and Mrs. And immediately, once he says Mrs., Moxie says, are you assuming I'm a female? And the principal says, well, you look like a girl. And immediately Blitzo starts laughing out loud. And the principal says, wait, you're not? And then he says, no, I'm not. And they both just walk out. The principal starts sweating, and he's thinking about going ahead and calling the police and stuff, but there's a note left on his door, and note left on his desk. He looks at the note, and it has his address. He's like, yeah, never mind. And it also, he says never mind in his head, but then he thinks, wait, I don't like my wife and kid. Huh, that actually just does me a favor. And then he turns the note over, and it says, we'll immediately expose your browser history to the whole world. And then he's like, oh no. He starts getting worried. So after that happened, Moxie and Blitzo walk back into the class right where Midoriya is. They're at recess. Midoriya is at the swing by himself because none of the kids want to play with him because Bakugo started convincing them otherwise. So he's currently by himself at the swing with Luna and Millie walking near him. They start playing tag and stuff, and the tag they're playing is with BB guns. Whoever gets found gets shot in a certain area with a BB gun. They get shot right near the knee. So immediately Midoriya was playing with them, and he started hiding behind trees and immediately teleporting above trees to get away from Millie, who was on his tail. Immediately when Millie was on his tail, he teleported up a tree so high, up the highest tree, that everyone was spending tons of time climbing and could never get up to. Once he did that, immediately every single one of the kids looked and said, oh my god, he's up that tree that we all tried to climb. That's so amazing. Isn't that right, Bakugo? While Bakugo said, that's not that amazing. I could do it too. And he said, just watch me. And he starts popping off little explosions and trying to fly upward up the tree and trying to grab onto the branches when his quirk runs out. He immediately starts doing it multiple times until he overestimates himself and tries to do one big explosion, but then it doesn't come out. He starts falling all the way down to the ground, and Midoriya immediately, on instinct, puts a portal under him and just places him right back on the ground so he doesn't fall to his death. And then Midoriya just jumps through a portal and lands back to the ground right next to Bakugo and says, are you okay? And he offers a hand out to the young man that's on the ground. And right when Bakugo is about to grab the hand, is what Midoriya thinks, he slaps it away and he says, I don't need your help, nerd. And right when that happened, Millie, Luna, both look at Bakugo in disgust. And they both say, yeah, there's definitely a place in hell for you. While Bakugo starts getting nervous and he says, the place he showed me before isn't real. It's probably just an illusion or something. We don't know what his quirk is. It could probably not be teleportation. While everyone else said, yeah, but how do you explain the fact that he teleported you when you're about to fall to your death to the ground? And Bakugo starts sweating nervously. He says, I'll be a good boy from now on. Please don't send me to hell. While Luna and Millie say, well, it's not up to us. It's up to you. And they start menacingly smiling at Bakugo. And Bakugo starts literally sweating, having a cold sweat. And Midoriya just says, yeah, you're definitely going there. While he says, no, I'll be good. I'll stop bullying people. And immediately Midoriya says, you gotta stop bullying people and acting superior than other people, or you're going there. And I'll be the one taking you there. And he puts a portal right underneath Bakugo, and he falls right into hell. Like, he's right on the ground in hell. And he's watching all this mayhem, explosions everywhere. Then he sees literally some guy at a hotel snapping his fingers, and tentacles are popping out of portals and stuff around this airship, it seems, and crushing it. And he sees something on the top of the hotel saying Happy Hotel. This immediately scares Bakugo, and Bakugo says, bring me back. While once the blimp is closed, immediately crushed by the tentacles, this man with strawberry hair, looking like a strawberry pimp apparently, says the person right next to him, who is known as Angel Dust, the porn star, says to Alastor. And Charlie, they all immediately start walking back into the Happy Hotel before Alastor looks behind them and sees Bakugo and says, "Oh, there's a human here. How particular." And he starts running towards him. And he has frightening eyes and a really large smile. And he says, "I heard they taste delicious," while looking at Bakugo. And he says, "They're a delicacy here," while running towards him really quickly. And immediately Bakugo's like, "No, no, 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 no," before a portal appears under him, and he gets put right back into the playground at his school. And he's like terrified, and the portal is about to close before Alastor sticks his head through the portal and says, "Hello there," while everyone's like, "No, nope, 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 that's a demon, that's a demon." And they're all starting to panic and stuff. And Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, and Luna are all looking at the portal, and they say, "Oh my god, that's Alastor. That's an overlord. Midoriya, close the portal, close the portal." While he's trying to close the portal, Alastor's just pushing it open, and he says, "Hello," and he starts walking through, and just immediately looks at Midoriya and says, "So you're the one that made the portal. That's quite amazing. I like your ability, kid. So how about this? Me and you make a deal. I'll give you anything you want for your expertise of getting to the human world very, very subtly, and without having to have permission from Lucifer or, well, any of the other people that have the ability to go to the human world." While saying that, immediately Midoriya's like, let me think about it, while Alastor's standing in front of him. And he looks away and he looks at Moxie, Millie, Blitzo, and Luna and says, "So what do you guys think?" While right behind him, Alastor's trying to intimidate them, and he's a static around everywhere right behind him, and these weird symbols. And they all nod and say, "Yeah, I think that's not a good idea." While Alastor starts getting a little pissed, while Midoriya says, "How about this, Alice? Your name was Alastor, right?" And Alastor says, "Yes, of course it is. So I'll send you anytime that you would not want. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'll send you anytime that you want is what you think I would say, right?" And Alastor says, "Yes, I presumed you would say that, considering I can still destroy you." While Midoriya says, "Well, you could," but he snaps his fingers, and right under Alastor, a portal appears. He falls through. He's like, "Damn you," is what Alastor says, before falling back down to Hazbin Hotel. And he closes the portal, and everyone is staring at Midoriya, and they all start cheering around him and running towards him and saying, You got the demon away!" They start lifting him up and saying, "Hip hip hooray!" While Luna and all of them are like laughing and smiling that Midoriya finally made some friends now. And Bakugo's like, "But he's the one that brought him here." While Midoriya just says, "Don't make me send you back there." And Bakugo says, "I'll shut up now." Then after that, the day went relatively normal. Midoriya was quite popular, and everyone was being picked up by their parents and stuff. And Midoriya just was walking out of the school. Everyone was curious about where he's going, because that couldn't have been his home. They thought it was just a joke or something, now that they thought about it. But then a portal appeared in front of him. Midoriya made a portal in front of him. They walk through, and they see that office was his home. They immediately think, "Oh, so that was real. We thought that the demon was fake," is what some of the kids say. While other ones said, "We knew it was real." And Bakugo is like still literally shaking, and everyone sees yellow liquid running down his pants, and they all say, "Bakugo pissed himself," and they all start laughing at him, and Bakugo says, "Stop laughing at me." Meanwhile, Luna, Moxie, Millie, and Blitzo, and Midoriya, they all walk through the portal, and they're right into their office, but they notice something. There's a person in Blitzo's chair, and he spins around, slams his hands on the table, and says, "Hello there, we meet again. So let's go ahead and just make an agreement." And that's where I'm going to end What If Deku Had the I.M.P. Quirk Part 2. I hope you all enjoy,